You know, sometimes I feel like we're led to believe that to become rich, you have to earn a huge salary. Something crazy, like 6 figures a month. And then you think to yourself, okay, I just earn my little salary, so that's it? Well, think again. Because frankly, becoming a millionaire has almost nothing to do with the amount of your salary. Yes, yes, you heard correctly. Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and felt that little pang in your heart? You know, that moment when you say to yourself, but how am I going to move forward now? Well, I was exactly in your situation. Making ends meet was a real headache. And yet, I ended up understanding something crazy. It's not money that makes you rich. It's how you manage it. So, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that even with your current salary, the one you think is too small, you can build a real fortune? Yes, even you. You who think that money is reserved for others. Yes, you who tell yourself that every euro counts and that it's barely enough to pay the rent. Honestly, it makes you think, doesn't it? I too had those sleepless nights, wondering how I would get by. And then, boom. The revelation. It's not how much you earn, but how you make your money work for you. This is where everything changes. And frankly, the craziest thing about all this is that most people miss this truth, just because they believe in the myth of the obligatory big salary. So if you really want to change your future, if you want your small salary to become your first step towards a million, stay with me. Because what I'm going to show you is concrete, real, and above all, it can work for you, starting today. You know, we all grew up with this idea. To be rich, you need a big salary. Period. Movies, social media, even your friends who talk about money. Everyone sends you this message. And suddenly, you say to yourself, okay, I only have my small salary, so I'm condemned to average. Well, stop. It's a myth, pure and simple. Let me give you a concrete example. Do you know Sophie? A colleague who earned less than me when I was starting my career. Small salary, and no bonus. And yet, she managed to build real wealth. How? Not thanks to a miracle, not thanks to an inheritance. No. She simply learned to manage every euro like a king. She saved, invested intelligently, and above all, she always kept an eye on her unnecessary expenses. Over the years, this small salary became a real wealth-building machine. Impressive, isn't it? Small digression. At first, I found it a little crazy. I said to myself, seriously? With so little? How does she do it? But looking at it more closely, I understood something essential. It is not the amount of your salary that determines your wealth. It is your state of mind. And this is where many people go wrong. They say to themselves, if I don't have a big salary, I might as well spend what I have. I'll never get rich anyway. Big mistake. Because the real millionaire isn't the one with the biggest salary. No. It's the one who manages every euro, however small, with intelligence, discipline, and long-term vision. Every euro becomes a soldier working for you, not against you. And believe me, when you start thinking like that, the magic happens. So if you too think that your small salary is an obstacle, forget it. The key isn't how much you earn, it's how you make it grow. And believe me, you can start doing that today. Even with a few €100 a month, if you act strategically and patiently, you can build a real empire. Yes, a real one. And there I see you smiling and saying to yourself, it must take years. Yes, a little patience, of course. But the difference between those who get stuck and those who move forward is never the salary. It's the state of mind. So here, Let's talk cash. Because you can have the best mindset in the world. But if you spend your entire salary on the first of the month, you'll get stuck. Saving and discipline are the foundation. Even with a small salary, you can move forward. Yes, even you who think every euro counts, you can build something solid. Honestly, I had to learn to say no to a lot of things. 5 euro coffees every morning, subscriptions I never used, outings that made me happy in the moment, but not in the long term. It's hard, I admit, but that's how we make every penny work for us. So where to start? First rule, make a simple budget, nothing complicated. Write down your income, write down your fixed expenses, then set a minimum amount to put aside each month. And there, boom. You see the magic effect. You stop wondering where your money went. Every euro has its purpose. Second tip, limit unnecessary expenses. And be careful, useless doesn't mean you have to deprive yourself of everything. No, it's just learning to distinguish what brings you closer to your goals and what holds you back. Hey, you know what surprised me the most? When I started cutting out certain automatic expenses, I realized that I could save hundreds of euros without really feeling like I was missing out. Crazy, right? Third crucial point, automate your savings. Set up an automatic deposit as soon as you receive your paycheck. That way, you won't even notice it coming in. You'll avoid the temptation to blow it all and move forward without thinking about it. It sounds simple, but trust me, it makes all the difference. Plus, it creates natural discipline. Another trick I've learned, celebrate small victories. Yes, saving 50 or 100 euros may seem ridiculous when you're dreaming of a million, but every small victory builds your financial muscle. Every euro saved, every smart expense is a giant step toward your goal. And above all, always keep your mind flexible. Some expenses can be reevaluated, some months will be tighter than others. That's normal. The important thing is to remain consistent and patient. Because over time, this discipline turns into real strength. And you'll see, it becomes almost addictive. Saving becomes a game, and every euro brings you a little closer to your financial independence. So yes, it's not always fun. Yes, it requires discipline. But I assure you, that's the key. Real power is transforming your small salary into a machine that works for you, month after month, until the day when your savings become your first solid capital. Okay, now that we've talked about saving and discipline, let's talk investment. Yes, I know, some people think, invest? With my small salary, I can't even make it to the end of the month. Well, think again. Even with 50 or 100 euro a month, you can start. And believe me, the sooner you start, the better. You know the concept of the compound interest. If that word scares you, relax. Let's simplify it. Imagine you plant a seed today. Tomorrow, it becomes a small tree. The following year, it produces fruit. And those fruits, if you plant them again, give you even more trees. Do you get the idea? Every euro invested can generate interest, and that interest generates more interest. Over the years, boom, a little seed becomes a forest. Magic, right? So where do you actually start? You no need to break the bank. You can invest in fractional shares. You don't need to buy a whole share for 500 euros. You can buy a small part for 10 or 20 euros. Index funds. These funds track the performance of an entire market. It's simple, diversified, and secure over the long term. Crypto cautious. Just a small percentage, just to test, without putting all your money at risk. And the secret here is regularity. No need to wait until you have thousands of euros. Put a little bit away each month. Even 20 euros, I swear. Over time, it makes a huge difference. And then, Mental pause. Imagine what it could look like in 10 or 15 years. Yes, you heard correctly. Your little effort today can become your big capital tomorrow. Here's a quick side note. I saw a friend start with, guess what, 30 euros a month. 30 euros. And 8 years later, he had accumulated a nice nest egg that allowed him to launch his own small business. It sounds crazy, but that's exactly the effect of time plus compound interest. So what I want you to take away here, investing early, even a little, saves time. Time is your most powerful ally. Every month you put off your first investment is a month you let your money sit instead of working for you. And don't forget, patience and consistency. It won't explode overnight, no. But little by little, month after month, your money will grow, like a strong tree taking root. And one day, you look back and you say to yourself, wow, I didn't believe it, but it worked. Okay, now that we've talked about saving and investing, let's talk income diversification. Because frankly, relying on a single salary is like walking a tightrope. One misstep and you fall. The real secret of millionaires is that they have multiple sources of income. Not all of them huge, not all of them perfect, but each one contributes to building security and wealth. So you might be wondering, okay, but I already have a job. I can't leave everything to create 10 businesses. Relax. No one is asking you to drop everything. Start small, test ideas, and gradually add income streams. Even a few €100 a month can make a difference in the long run. Concrete example. I have a friend, Karim. An employee in a standard company, he started giving online courses on his passion, just in the evenings, 2 hours a day. At first, he earned €50 per week. Nothing crazy. But over time, he automated his courses, created packages, and today, he has a real passive income that exceeds his base salary. Honestly, it's not always easy at first, but it's worth it. Another idea, the freelance. If you have a skill, writing, graphic design, marketing, programming, you can start taking on side gigs. Even a few gigs a month can increase your cash flow and bring you closer to your $1 million goal. Little bonus, the small online businesses, e-commerce store, digital products, training. The hardest part is getting started. But every little success gives you experience and additional income. And believe me, seeing your efforts generate money independently feels great. Here's a quick anecdote. A friend started selling illustrations she did for her friends. €10 here, €20 there. She didn't think it would work. 6 months later, she had enough to finance a trip. And today, she's even created her own website and earns regularly. That's what I call turning a small effort into real additional income. The idea here is simple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your salary is a solid foundation, but your additional income gives you freedom and, above all, security. Each source of income is a lever that brings you closer to your goal. And the best part? Even a few dozen or hundreds of euros more per month, repeated over several years, can make the difference between I'm struggling and I'm building my wealth. So start small, be consistent, stay creative. Every extra income, every initiative is one step closer to your financial independence. And trust me, once you've tasted that freedom, you'll never go back. Okay, now let's talk about mentality. Because you can save, invest, multiply your income, but if your mindset isn't right, you won't get very far. The real millionaire isn't just the one who has money, it's the one who thinks like a millionaire. You see, at first I was skeptical. I said to myself, okay, it works on paper, but in real life, I'll never get there. Frankly, It took me a while to understand that what differentiates those who succeed from those who stagnate is not luck nor salary. It is the long-term vision and the perseverance. Every dollar counts. Every choice counts. Even small, everyday decisions can bring you closer to or further from your goal. You know that moment when you're debating whether to spend 10 euros on a useless gadget? That's when you can decide whether to build your future or delay it. And trust me, it adds up. Patience, perseverance, discipline. 3 words that seem simple, but which require real work on yourself. It's not always fun. You'll encounter moments when you feel like you're stagnating, when you say to yourself, it's no use, I'll never get there. And here, pause, breathe, breathe again. Because that's exactly when your mindset makes the difference. A small personal example. At the beginning, I put aside a few dozen euros each month, and I felt like it was pointless. And then, after a few years, this small, regular effort allowed me to have capital that I didn't even imagine possible when I started. Consistency, even on tiny actions, is what builds a millionaire. And above all, it is necessary. Think as if you have already succeeded. Visualize your future, your goals, and act accordingly every day. No need for grand gestures. Small actions repeated. They work miracles. It's like a muscle. The more you train, the stronger you become. So yes, it takes time, energy, and a little faith in yourself. But if you adopt this mindset, you'll see that anything becomes possible. Every euro saved, every investment, every new income, everything becomes more powerful because your mind supports your actions. The millionaire is distinguished by his patience, in discipline, and his ability to see far. And you, if you start thinking like that today, you put all the chances on your side to transform your small salary into lasting wealth. Well, now let's talk about the mistakes to avoid. Because believe me, even with the best mindset, it's easy to fall into certain traps. And if you know them, you already have a huge advantage. First trap, the impulsive spending. Yes, I too have already fallen for that useless gadget, just because it was on sale. And boom, I regretted it a few days later. These small decisions may seem insignificant, but they add up and eat into your savings faster than you think. So before each purchase, mental pause. Does this help me become a millionaire or not? Second trap, unnecessary debt, credit cards, consumer loans, leasing. All of these things may seem convenient at the time, but they hold you back in the long run. Even if your salary is small, avoid going into debt for things that don't generate value. And I speak from experience. Yes, I've paid interest that made me cringe. Third trap, la procrastination, postponing your savings, investments, or additional projects may seem trivial today, but in 5 years, you'll regret it. Time is your most powerful ally in building wealth. Every month lost is one less chance for your money to work for you. So how do you stay on the right path? 3 practical tips. Write down your goals. When you see what you're working for, you spend less foolishly. Automates savings and investing. You don't see the money passing by, you avoid temptations. Do regular checkups. Every month, look at what you spent, what you saved, and adjust. And here, pause. Take a breath. Because it's human to make mistakes. The important thing is to recognize them and correct them quickly. Yes, you'll sometimes crack. Yes, you'll make mistakes. But as long as you stay conscious and disciplined, you'll keep moving forward. Little reminder, a millionaire is not made by avoiding all mistakes. It is made by learning from every misstep, by staying consistent and making thoughtful decisions. Every dollar counts, every choice counts, and every mistake corrected is one step closer to your goal. So keep that in mind, and move forward cautiously, but with determination. Because at the end of the day, your well-managed little salary and your smart choices will take you where you dream of being. So there you have it. We've covered it all. We've talked about mindset, saving, investing, income diversification, and most importantly, mistakes to avoid. You see, becoming a millionaire on a small salary isn't an impossible dream. It's a combination of discipline, patience, intelligence, and consistency. Every little step counts. Every choice you make today shapes your future. Remember, the real millionaire is not the one who earns the most, but the one who knows how to make every euro work for him. Even 50 euros a month saved up, invested wisely, can become a huge sum in a few years. Even a small side project can turn into a significant income. It all starts with a first step. Honestly, it's not always easy. There will be times when you want to give up, when you say to yourself, "It's no use, I'll never earn enough." And then, pause, breathe. Look at everything you've already accomplished. Small victories add up and eventually create something gigantic. It's like planting a seed and watching a tree grow. One small action today, and in a few years, you'll harvest an entire forest. So what are you waiting for? Start now. Put $1 aside, start investing, look for that little extra income, but start. Procrastination is your worst enemy. Time is your most valuable ally. And the sooner you act, the more powerful your little salary becomes. Get ready to transform your mindset, to see every euro as a tool, to make your money work for you. Imagine what it will feel like in a few years. A financial freedom you thought impossible. Everything is in your hands. Every action, every choice counts. So, ready to turn your small salary into a fortune? I say, go for it.